welcome to this online exclusive interview. I am honored to have in studio tonight one of the greatest stand-up comedians of all time, Mr. Paul D'Angelo. Welcome to the program, Paul.
TC, it's my pleasure.
It's been a long time. You've been on our TV version of the program before, but this is your first inaugural visit to our podcast/radio version.
Yeah, it's. I don't have to like fix my hair or dress well. I like this.
Well, you never fixed your hair or dressed well anyway for the
That's
TV
a good
version.
point. Good point.
Now, you were once a lawyer.
Well, I still am. It's like being an alcoholic. I still am. I have to go to meetings and like Lawyers Anonymous meetings and stand up in front of people and go, "Hi, my name is Paul and I'm a lawyer." And I drive by courthouses. I get the shakes every now and then. I said, maybe I'll just take one case. And then next thing you know, it's 2 cases, 3 cases. And then you're working weekends and nights and you're a lawyer again. So
Now, how did you go from being a lawyer into stand-up comedy?
Well, I was an assistant district attorney when I started doing the comedy. It was just something I thought I'd do once, maybe get it out of my system. But I really worked hard at it before I even stepped on stage for the first time. I wrote for a year. I had done like 100 trials, so I really wasn't worried about the stage presence. And I did an open mic. It went really well. I did maybe 10 open mics and quit because my parents were on my back.
Really?
Yeah, my mother.
You paid for this college, Paul, and now you're doing this?
Don't remind painful memories. Don't. my mother found out I did it once. She said, "I'm glad you got that out of your system." So they were very supportive. And I did like 10. I quit, and I was ready to take a job in a big law firm, and I panicked at the last time. I panicked before I took the job, and I called up a couple agents, and I said, "My name is Paul D'Angelo. I read from a list of places I had never played before. Told them I had all this experience that I didn't, and I asked them to come and see me. They came to see me, and I was headlining. And after maybe a dozen open mics, that was it. And working almost every night, and working as a DA during the day.
Unbelievable. Now, have you ever seen any of the people you've put away get paroled and then come to your shows?
You know what? My real last name is Murphy, Paul Murphy. But when I started doing comedy, I didn't want them to know that I was, who I was. So I didn't know. I didn't know if the DA would even allow me to do this. I was kind of breaking new ground. So I used the name D'Angelo because my friends used to call me Angelo in college because I was mostly Italian, looked Italian, talked a little Italian. So when I used to play at Stevie D's, was this place when I first started out, there were 2 times where people came up to me and said, "I just want you to know that I heard the guy at the next table say to his friend, 'Hey, this looks like the guy who sent me to prison. But that guy was Irish, and this guy's Italian, so it must not be the same guy. So I better keep the 2 of them separate.'"
There you go. Well, Clark, you work for Clark Kent and Superman.
Yeah, right.
You're a lawyer, now you're a stand-up comic. Now, did you go all over the country doing this?
Yeah. I used to travel more, and then I lived in Hollywood, California for 6 years. And now I travel around the country doing corporate shows and events like that. But I used to travel a lot more than I do now. But I'm so busy around the Northeast, New York, New England area, that I don't have to travel as much, and it's fine with me.
Now, give us your website out there if anyone wants to book you.
My website is pdangelo.com. It's a very extensive website. There's all sorts of things. I'm also an artist. I got pictures of my artwork on there. I've got video clips on there. I've got all sorts of background info. I've got a trailer from a sitcom pilot that we did. A new project that I just finished is called Politics, Paul Politics, and it's my take on politics. And there are a dozen or so clips of like skits of my political humor.
And you can find all those on pdangelo.com.
pdangelo.com, that's right.
Now, what about the Godfathers of Comedy? The movie you were in. I was flipping through the dials one night on Cinemax. You know, I watch it.
Showtime.
It was on Showtime. It was on
yeah.
Showtime. And I'm like, oh, my God, there's Paul. He's up there doing his stand-up comedy, and it's a movie. Give us a 411 on the Godfathers of Comedy.
That's actually, it was 5 Italian-American comedians. Frank Sandrelli from Boston, Rocky Laporte, and John Caponera from Chicago, Willie Fratto, whose family has a pedigree of mobsters, actually. And,
we don't. I'm holding my nose here. We don't talk about that.
And the 5 of us got together. We filmed a show at a theater in St. Charles, right near Chicago, Illinois. And Showtime bought it. It's been airing for the last couple years. The only thing is we had some producers who dropped the ball on the tour, and we should have been doing a national tour, but we got to do some great shows at the main room of Harrah's in Atlantic City and some other places, and it was a great experience.
Unbelievable. I thought it was one of the greatest comedy movies of all time. And I'm not just saying that because you're here either. I was actually physically laughing out loud when I was watching it.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with this 38 I have pointed at you.
No, 38? No, I used to watch 56 as a kid, but that's a different story for a different time. But future goals. I mean, you've been a stand-up comedian now for how many years?
Over 20 years now.
Over 20 years. Do you ever think of going into motion pictures? I know you did the Godfathers of Comedy, but that's basically filming you on stage doing your stand-up.
Well, I'd love to. I actually wrote a pilot called Murphy's Law, which kind of is the story of my life of being an assistant district attorney, then turning into a defense attorney and going back into the courthouses where you applied your trade as a prosecutor and kind of all the funny things that went on in court. I don't think people would believe the stories if I told them what.
Oh, I'm sure. I believe it. I've actually know people that are law enforcement agents and lawyers, and the stuff that they tell me, I mean, it looks like Bull would make it up.
I submitted that script to ICM, which is one of the big agencies out in L.A., and I told the guy who was interested.
Is that Mike Ovitz?
I think
he used to be there.
Yeah, either that or creative artist. He might have left to go to creative artist. I don't know. I've been
out
of L.A. now. I don't know. But I said, whatever you do, don't let an 18-year-old intern read this, because that's what they do. They shuffle it off.
Right, they're not going to get it.
And, of course, he did. And the kid wrote back, he goes, this is preposterous. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. Nobody would believe. And I was looking at the synopsis going, these are all true stories. These really happened. You got to be
that
kidding me.
18-year-old nitwit is one who's probably like, oh, I got to find out who wins American Idol. Like, that's important.
Yeah, right. But I had that. I had that other sitcom pilot called The Fine Mess with Patty Ross.
Oh, the infamous Patty Ross, yeah.
Well, Patty is doing real well. She just did a Farrelly Brothers just did the Three Stooges movie.
Really?
She was in that. She was in one Adam Sandler movie, and she's also filming a new Adam Sandler movie, and just got a part in Larry David's new movie.
Really?
Yeah, so she's
now,
doing real
is
well.
Larry David, is he going to be all ad-lib like he did on Curb Your Enthusiasm?
You know, part of it is. They work around like a skeleton, and they ad-lib a lot of it.
That's the best way. That's the best way to work, in my opinion.
Well, that's what he does with his movies. I think Woody Allen did that a little bit with his movie. I'm a big Woody Allen fan. But Larry David, he's filming it right in the Boston area. I think they're basing the production out of Beverly.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
You can try to get a cameo in that? Seeing that you and Patty are so tight?
I would probably have to audition for it. That would help. They're not calling me, but
once they see the politics, they'll be knocking on your door.
You know what? Can I tell you something? When I was in L.A., I used to go on all these auditions, and I just missed all the time. And in the final one, they wanted someone to play a lawyer from Boston. I said, I can't miss.
Right.
So I did it. I nailed it, and they told me I couldn't have the part because my Boston accent was so good that all the other actors who were faking a Boston accent would look bad compared to me. And I said, that's it. When I can't play a lawyer from Boston, I'm done.
It's kind of like Kevin Costner's in 13 Days. You ever see that? This is your report card. It was the worst Boston accent in history.
No, I didn't see that, though. But I did see Waterworld, which was supposed to be terrible. And I didn't think it was terrible. But I realized why nobody liked it. Because the entire world was covered with water, but everybody was filthy.
That is true.
I couldn't figure that out.
That makes no sense.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. PaulDeangelo.com. You're all over the world on the World Wide Web, and you're all over New England in your comedy gigs. And I've been to about a dozen of them, and every single time the audience is pissing their pants.
That's my goal. And you know what? I love doing the stand-up, and I love creating. I love a lot of the guys don't change their act that much. I'm always doing new material. That's what makes it fun for me. And when I get something to work, it's a great feeling. You know, that whole creativity of coming up with something from scratch and making strangers laugh. It's great.
Unbelievable. Once again, give a plug for your big website.
www. Do you even have to say that anymore?
I don't think so, but I like saying it anyway.
www. You're an idiot. pdangelo.com.
The one, the only, Paul D'Angelo. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, TC.
Hey, fans, check out my YouTube page to relive 8 years of After Hours. See movie stars, playmates, and a who's who of talented individuals. Check us out at www.youtube.com/AfterHoursTC. And remember, here in After Hours, we never close.